Alright, good afternoon, students. So we move on to the next concept on trigonometry. Alright, so there's one more question here. Okay, now let's say you're given cos theta is negative 5 over 13 and your angle theta is between 0 and 180 degrees. Alright, okay, so if you know, based on this, okay, this is your condition given, your angle theta can be in the first quadrant or your second quadrant, because angle theta can be 0, 90 and 180. So it involves two quadrants. So now, based on this condition, your angle here, this theta, can be in the first or it can be in the second quadrant. Okay, so you got two options. But what we do is we look at the negative. Okay, meaning my cosine in whichever quadrant I pick has to be negative. So in the first quadrant, if we know all the functions are actually positive, and in the second quadrant only sine is positive. Okay, so that means all the other two, cosine and tangent, will be negative. So meaning my cos is in this quadrant. So this is the diagram that I'm going to look at. Okay, all right, so now we're putting the ratio for the sides. This is my angle theta, 5 over 13. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so according to the Pythagoras theorem, so this is actually 12. So 5, 12, 13. Okay, so now based on this, we can actually answer the question. Okay, so if you want sine theta is opposite over hypo, which is 12 over 13. Okay, so this comes from this triangle. Okay, and is it positive or negative depending on the function? So sine in the second quadrant is positive. Okay, now we move on to cosecant theta. Okay, cosecant theta is actually 1 over sine theta. Okay, so 1 over sine, that means it's 1 over what we just found up here. It's 12 over 13. So answer is actually 13 over 12. Or we change it to 1 over 12. Okay, all right. Next, we move on to tangent theta. So tangent theta, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So this is 12 over 5. Okay, now this is tangent. So tangent in the second quadrant is actually negative. So this becomes 2 over 5. Okay, and of course it carries the negative value. Okay, next is your secant. Secant theta. Secant is actually 1 over cos theta. So 1 over cos is what is given to us here. So it's actually negative 5 over 13. So what we'll actually get is negative 13 over 5, which is negative 2, 3 over 5. Okay, all right. So this is another type of question that can be asked, okay, using the concept of trigonometry. Okay, let's look at one more. Okay, let's say you're given this question. 4 cos x sine x equals to sine x. Okay, so what you can actually do here is what I'll do is actually bring the sign to your left. I'm going to equate this to 0. So now what happens is sine here, you've got also the sine here, so I'll actually factorize it. So it's 4 cos x minus 1 equals to 0. So sine x is 0, or 4 cos x minus 1 is 0. So here, this is sine x is 0 lah. That means my x can be 0 degrees, 180 degrees, and 360 degrees. Okay, this was, you can actually look back at the special angle video that we actually did much earlier. Okay, so that's how I got the 3 angles for Sine x is 0. Okay. All right. Now we come down here. This is so it's 4 cos x equals to 1. So cos x is 1 over 4, which is 0.25. Okay, so that means you need to look for your angle. So shift cos 0.25. Okay, that will give you about 75 degrees 75.52 degrees. All right. Okay, so now here cos is actually positive. Huh? So cos positive means two angles. Okay, so you have two angles, one in the first quadrant. So the angle that we got is actually 75.52 degrees. So this is also 75.52 degrees. Okay, so my first angle is 75.52. Okay, my second angle is from here all the way up to here. Okay, so up to this line here. Okay, so this becomes 360 degrees minus 75.52. Okay, so my x value, so therefore the x values will be, we put it in ascending order, 0 degrees. Okay, the next one is 75.5 degrees. Okay, followed by 180 degrees. Okay, followed by this angle now. Okay, so this one will actually be 360 minus 75.52. Okay, so you get about 284.48 degrees. Huh? Okay, and lastly, 360 degrees. All right. Okay. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles for this system. Okay, all right. Okay, so we do one more. Let's say we try one more. Okay, tangent x is 4 cotangent x. So always when we try to solve, we try to actually bring it down to the same function. So what I'll do is I'll convert this to tangent. Huh? So tangent means is 1, cotangent is 1 over tangent. So that means it's 4 over tangent x here. So what we can do is we cross multiply. So you get this. Okay. So my tangent x will become, bring over. So it's positive, negative, square root of 4. Means my tangent x is actually positive or negative 2. So we got two option answers. My tangent x can be 2 or tangent x can be negative 2. Okay. So I've got two sets of answers. One when tangent is positive. Tangent positive will be in the first and the third quadrant. Here. Okay, and tangent being negative can be in the second and fourth quadrant. One here and one here. So that means altogether we will have four answers, two sets of answers. So x can be when tangent is 2. So shift tangent 2, we'll actually get 63.43 degrees. That means all the angles are the same. Huh? So this one will be 63.43 degrees. Okay, so all of it is actually the same angle. Yeah, so being positive, so this is 63.43. Okay, and we got here, and positive is here, this one, 63.43 degrees. So it'll be 180 plus this. So you'll actually get it as 243.43 degrees. Okay, so that's one. Okay, now for tangent being negative, this one here. Okay, for here, so x can be in the second quadrant, same angle, 63.43 degrees, or one more here, 63.43 degrees. Okay, two angles. So x here will be 180 because I want from here all the way up to this line. Okay, so you can actually get it as 180 minus this angle. So if it's 180 minus 63.43, so you'll actually get 116.57 degrees. That's one. Okay, another one will be all the way from here up to the fourth quadrant. So it's actually 360 minus 63.43. So what you'll actually get is 296.57 degrees. So you'll actually get two positive angles and two negative angles. Okay, so these are just some of the questions that can be asked, okay, when you're actually solving trigonometric function. Okay, thank you.